Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today?
Good.
How you doing today? Welcome
Morning,
to First
Earthlings.
Contact
How you doing today?
Radio.
Welcome to First Contact Radio.
To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. We'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. We'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
We have arrived.
First Contact Radio.
It's time.
First Contact Radio.
We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First
the
Contact
truth.
Radio. We have arrived.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
That's it. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Glad that you could be here as always. Today is the 19th day of March. It is the last day of winter. Tomorrow, springtime begins. So today we're dealing with a Pisces sun and a Pisces moon. Last day of this. Tomorrow we're going to make a transition. The sun sign is going to start at the beginning of the zodiac again, and we're going to go to Aries. So today we're at the last day. So when we're at the last day of a phase, it's cleaning our house, preparing for the next phase. Think about when you go on a trip. Before you leave for a trip, you get everything ready to go. You prepare, you pack, you plan what's next. That's where we're at. So let's take a look at this here. So the 19th, we have Pisces. We know that Pisces is all about walking that path. It's walking the path. It's the tarot card of the moon, which says that we're going to walk that path and we're going to have faith because we understand the process of life that's evolving. And our emotional world is what is being affected here because Pisces is a water sign. So we are truly dealing with this double aspect of working to understand that life has much more significance. Here's that card right there, the moon. Okay, it's a process of evolution. So we are evolving as we speak, and the Pisces is an example of that, and showing that this next step is the beginning of the evolution. So we have to have faith because we're about to go into the unknown. We don't know what the future holds. We don't know what tomorrow may bring. We know what today is at this moment. But the rest of the day, we don't know what it's going to bring to us other than the ideas we look at and the energies around us. See what they generate and create. There's only one aspect that's here for us to really be aware of, and that takes place in a couple hours, 10:27 a.m., and it's an aspect between the wounded healer, Chiron, and Pisces. So Pisces being a water sign, there's emotions that are there. And the wounded healer is going to be going through that emotional healing. Remember, we're all working to heal ourselves. We're all working to heal the issues that we've dealt with in the past. Not just issues in this particular lifetime, but other lifetimes. We've all had opportunities to live many lifetimes. This isn't our first go-round. Some people have been here less, some people have more. But one of the beauties of this process is that we learn not only about ourselves, but we learn about others through this process of reincarnation and coming back lifetime after lifetime. So we've all had a chance to be different races. We've all had a chance to be different genders. We've all had a chance to be different physical sizes, big, small, and everything in between. So as we continue to progress, we can understand and we learn to have compassion for others because we've been in their shoes at some point or another. Challenge is we don't always remember that, do we? So we get caught up in these race wars down here on the planet because we forgot what it was like when we ourselves were a member of that race. And so we lack that compassion. Once we can get that compassion back and we start to understand that we are just like that other person and that other person is like us. There's a Mayan saying, Ilakesh, means I'm another yourself. And we understand that the person we're standing next to is another version of ourselves, regardless of their gender or their skin color. We begin to understand the richness and the treasure that this earth provides to us and all that's going on down here. And as you can see right here, We are having a solar eclipse tomorrow. I'm going to show you information about that in just a bit. Okay, but here's where we're at today, finishing up the last day of winter. If we look at our Planet Watcher site and we see the full grid here, we see everything's lined up. Here's Pisces. So we have all of these planets here in Pisces. Neptune, Venus, we have the Moon, we have Chiron, and we have the Sun. 1, 2, 3, 4, all the 5 different aspects here. Chiron is not really planet, 4 aspects, and Chiron, 4 planets in Chiron. Aries, new beginnings, we've already got some things waiting for us there. Unexpected changes with Uranus. Mars is that energy and passion to begin something new, to charge forward. As we look around the rest of the wheel over here in Leo, House of Creativity, we have an expansion, expanding our home, our creative ideas, how we're going to express ourselves. And over here, we have in Sagittarius is in Saturn. Saturn is about discipline, focus, truthfulness. We want to focus our truthfulness. There's a lot of truthfulness going on in the world today. Not with the administrations around the countries of this earth, but certainly with the people who are demanding that there more truth be expressed into the world. And then here in Capricorn, we have Pluto, deep transformation. Remember, Capricorn deals with the physical world, and one of the things with the physical world is the idea that we're seeing illusions. It's an illusionary world because there's more than just the physical. So we go through the deep transformation in seeing past this aspect, seeing that there's much more to what's going on than what we actually believe that there is. Okay. On the Jewish calendar, today is the 28th day of Adar. We also have one more day left before we move into the next date on the Jewish calendar here. The daily thought for today is come of days. And Abraham was aged, come of days. Abraham, we are told, was not just aged, but come of days, meaning he entered into his days. Within each moment of life, whatever it was he needed to do, he invested his entire being, and so he owned every day of his life. His life was his. We see that little sliver of the waning moon that's right there as we're getting ready to go into that new moon. Space weather. Things have slowed down slightly. Solar wind is 574.0 kilometers per second. Planetary K-index is still in the storm area. 5 might get up to a 6, but we are subsiding quite a bit. We were at the 8, and so we've come down quite a bit since then. However, we are going to be feeling the effect of what's going on in the cosmos with the sun from the coronal holes. Little notification here that through today and tomorrow we're still going to feel some of that. M-class flare possibilities dropped even further from 40 down to 30, and X-class is going down as well. We're at 5. Geomagnetic storm activity is continuing to subside in the mid-latitudes, and in the high latitudes there is a little bit of activity going on to some degree, but the severity is dropping quite a bit from 60 down to 30. If we look up in the sky tonight, the 13th, it's a Jupiter, forms a big temporary quadrilateral with Procyon well to its right at dusk. Regulus a little left, far to Jupiter's lower left, and fainter, Alphard, the orange heart of Hydra, far below Jupiter. Here we have I brought this up for you so you can check it out. This is about the March equinox. 2 equinoxes every year, in March and in September, when the sun shines directly on the equator and the length of the day and night are nearly equal. If you want to see what times that takes place in Los Angeles, where I am, 3:45 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. That's 6:45 p.m. on the East Coast. So adjust your times accordingly. Right, the March equinox marks the moment the sun crosses the celestial equator, the imaginary line in the sky above the Earth's equator from south to north. This happens between the 19th, 20th, and the 21st every year. All right, and here is a page from the old Farmer's Almanac. And what we have here is just images of springtime. The March equinox occurs when the sun crosses the celestial equator on its way north along the ecliptic. In the northern hemisphere, the March equinox is known as the vernal or spring equinox, and it marks the start of the spring season. In the southern hemisphere, the equinox is known as the autumnal or fall equinox and marks the start of fall. The vernal equinox for the southern hemisphere occurs in September. The March equinox happens at the same moments across the world, but is converted into local time. And we could see the times: 6:45 p.m. Eastern, 3:45 out here in the West Coast. And if we jump down here just to see some of the folklore, it says on spring, a few minutes before the vernal equinox, several almanac editors tried this trick. For a full workday, 17 out of 24 eggs stood standing. 3 days later, we tried this trick again and found similar results. Perhaps 3 days after the equinox was still too near. Try it yourself, see what happens. And the verse for the spring: one swallow does not make a spring. Bluebirds are the sign of spring. Warm weather, gentle south breezes they bring. In spring no one thinks of the snow that fell last year. Don't say that spring has come until you can put your foot on 9 daisies. Springtime sweet, the whole earth smiles by coming to greet. All right, moving on from there. So, last day of winter. You're ready for springtime. I'm sure that you are. We always seem to wait for this opportunity every year because it gets warmer. Certainly been warmer as it is in plenty of places of the country, and changing weather patterns, but we'll see what spring holds for us. All right, that's our cosmic weather for today. UFO news is up next.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, here's a couple more witnesses that have come forward on a story that we've already reported. More witnesses come forward in the Barwell, UK case. 1. A policeman. 3 more witnesses said they saw UFO in the skies. An off-duty police officer, an AA patrol officer, and a dog walker all witnessed 2 flying orbs that are being investigated by a UFO network. The first person to come forward about the orbs was a 41-year-old woman from Earl Shilton who spotted the 2 orbs, a bright white light floating in the sky above Barwell in February. The woman, who managed to capture video footage of the unidentified flying object on her mobile phone, was awoken by a strange noise at 4:50 a.m. When she looked out of the window, she watched the spheres of the light for about a minute. They merged into one another, then moved side to side for shooting off at speed. There's our objects right there. Look at them move. Says Joanne Kavanagh, who is investigating the incident on behalf of Lufoyen, which is the Leicestershire UFO Investigation Network, said investigators had ruled out the possibility the objects were the air ambulance, police helicopter, or any low-flying aircrafts. As part of the investigation, the network asked other people to come forward if they had seen anything. Since the group has spoken to a Hinckley man from the Holycroft estate who said he was walking his dog alone along Roston Drive around 5 a.m. when he saw 2 large illuminated spheres crossing the sky. He added that they looked similar to the footage caught by the first witness, but he said he didn't believe in UFOs. Another witness, an AA patrol officer attending a breakdown on A47, said he saw the object moving back and forth across the road. He said there was no sound coming from the object, which seemed to hover before moving away towards Earl Shilton. Final witness was an off-duty police officer who said that the objects did not resemble a normal aircraft. The officer said he watched them for about a minute as they hovered in silence over the Barwell area. Joanne said, "We are not all sure of what it could have been. It's a very mysterious one. We really want other witnesses to come forward so we can gather more evidence. We don't think it could have been a Chinese lantern or a drone because they don't move that way. Very exciting. We've ruled out a lot of possibilities. Here we have a large object, mile-long UFO viewed in Earth's orbit from the space station live cam. Good size object right there. Okay, source comes to us from Ustream viewer here. During the NASA space station cam, I was fortunate enough to capture some video of this long cigar-shaped object as the ISS shot past. UFO was over a mile long and blends in with the surrounding clouds. There was no sound in the video because there was no sound from the live cam. UFOs are not new to space station. We've identified videos every week, so check out the cam sometimes. Okay. Bob Lazar. Questions of his demise have been greatly exaggerated. Some wonder if Bob is still alive or if he has passed because there's been rumors about that. However, he made an appearance at the International UFO conference, so he's alive. Sneak peek of Bob Lazar Q&A at the 2015 International UFO conference. Bob Lazar's claims regarding back engineering alien technology he allegedly worked on Area 51 made the U.S. Air Force's most secret base a household name. Lazar claims were made popular when he took part in an anonymous interview with KLAS investigative reporter George Knapp back in 1989. This and subsequent interviews became very popular and have made Area 51 synonymous with aliens and UFOs. And if you click on this link right there, you got a little sneak peek of Bob Lazar. Let's see what we've got going on here.
As my hands approached it, I couldn't touch it, which was fantastic. It takes you like
Alright, so I'm going to leave that for you to watch, so you can enjoy that. I'm going to move on to the next story here. UFO over the Sun Pyramid in Mexico. Photo by Professor from March 8th. Teotihuacan, Mexico. On March 8th, 2015, Professor Ana Luisa Cid said she went with archaeologists to the site of Teotihuacan, state of Mexico. Took many photos, especially when I got to the top of the Pyramid of the Sun, where people are energy charged, hold touching a stone, which is considered the powerhouse of the basement. Some researchers say that non-human entities feed off mental energy that we produce, humans in altered states of consciousness, for example, meditations, excitement, extreme emotion, fasting, etc. Such energy is called PSI. It is a possible explanation for the appearance of UFOs in mass concentrations. Moreover, the photos of random UFOs may be because the object passed so fast that it was imperceivable on our eyes, or perhaps because they vibrate in another range of light that our eye does not capture, as the infrared spectrum, for example. And one last story here. In the UFO kind, a massive database could teach humans how to travel to distant planets. Numbers of UFO sighting reports have been increasing conspiracy forums online, from flashing lights above Georgia to triangular craft above Texas. Now, UFO and alien hunters are creating a global database, hoping to provide people a simple way to report encounters with otherworldly beings. They say that one of the primary objectives is to observe a type of technology used by these so-called advanced aliens with the hopes to use it someday to move mankind to Earth, from Earth. MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network, has created the tool to provide people easy access to the evidence of space alien intruders. Executive Director of the California-based site, Jan Hazan, claims that the database could help scientists understand extraterrestrial technology. Hazan says that, based on thousands of observations they have made, advanced aliens are not using jet engines, propellers, rocket engines, or large fuel tanks. MUFON claims that it receives around 500 to 1,000 UFO sighting reports in a month from credible sources such as military personnel, airline pilots, and former intelligence officers. MUFON has almost 70,000 alleged UFO cases in its database and plans to expand the number by including all the new cases as well as those gathered before 2006. The database will include information on the location of sightings, date, flight characteristics, color, and size, shape and size. News of the database comes just a few days after 12,000 encounters with UFOs from Project Blue Book files were made available online to the public. Project Blue Book files were previously available only by paying visits to the National Archives in Washington. So, that's what's going on UFO-wise. Just a thought about the ideas of disclosure. We seem to be waiting for this government disclosure with the big D as we hear it, the big D. The government disclosing that extraterrestrials are there. And that's nice. That would be nice if the government came forward, but we know that they're not going to do that. So what is this disclosure situation really all about? And why are UFOs still in secrecy? It's because we, the people of the world, are not open-minded enough yet. You see, take the teeter-totter, right? Or scale. When you have balance going one way, when more than half of the people believe, there's no need to have some government agencies come out to admit, because the people believe, the scales are tipped. So that's pretty much what we need to do. We need to turn away from the government. We've become far, far, far too dependent on the government to tell us what's going on. When we pay attention to what the government is actually doing, we see that they are not necessarily the most qualified sources to do a lot of things. They mess a lot of things up. They do some things good, but they also, trying to get their hands in everything, don't have all the information. And yet, too many people rely upon them, thinking that they're going to tell us what's going on. And by relying upon them, you pretty much have determined that you're not going to figure things out for yourself. It's funny because the same people who, if you talk to them about things like astrology or tarot, they'll talk about giving up their power to such things. Oh, I can't do that because I don't want to give my power up to those. Yet those same individuals give their power up to governments without any thought whatsoever. And then despite what goes on, people continue to believe that. So when we get to the point where we as humans decide that what we see is what we see, and we don't need a government agency to affirm that for us, there will be disclosure. But if we're going to wait for the government to do it, well, we may be waiting quite a while, because they seem to be dragging their feet. They have their own agenda, and the general population of the world is not part of that agenda. They have their own little club, you know, the one percenters, the haves, the have-nots. That stuff's all very real. Very real indeed. So that is our UFO news for today. I will be right back. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Underground is where they live. In the bases that are secretive. We're not supposed to know where they come from or where they go. And if you ask our leaders today, this is what they will say. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. What's up with their lives?
Uh-oh, had the microphone on. Off, on. No, wasn't working. That's why you couldn't hear me. My lips were moving, but you couldn't hear anything. It's not your speakers. It's me. It's not you, it's me. Okay. Continuing on. The subjects I'm going to touch on now is about the Hadron Collider, Cern. You've heard of this? It's this basically an atom smasher. It's a project that's been going on for some time. Many people around the world are unaware of what this is. However, the consequences of this experiment that's going on could affect everybody in the world. In the past, we may have had such problems and things that affected our planet Earth here. Things such as the sinking of continents like Atlantis. So, what's going on with CERN is very, very, very significant and important to us. So let's take a look at what this is all about. This is the website for the home of CERN. It says what is the universe made of? How did it start? Physicists at CERN are seeking answers using some of the world's most powerful particle accelerators. At CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, physicists and engineers are probing the fundamental structure of the universe. They use the world's largest and most complex scientific instruments to study the basic constituents of matter, the fundamental particles. These particles are made to collide together at close to the speed of light. The process that gives physicists clues about how the particles interact and provide insights into the fundamental laws of nature. The instruments at CERN are purpose-built particle accelerators and detectors. Accelerators boost beams of particles of high energy before the beams are made to collide with each other or with stationary targets. Detectors observe and record the results of these collisions. Founded in 1954, the CERN laboratory sits astride the France-Swiss border near Geneva. It was one of Europe's first joint ventures and now has 21 member states. The name CERN is derived from the acronym for the French Conseil Européen pour la Recherche Nucléaire, or the European Council for Nuclear Research, a provisional body founded in 1952 with the mandate of establishing a world-class fundamental physics research organization in Europe. At the time, pure physics research concentrated on understanding the inside of the atom, hence the word nuclear. Today, our understanding of matter goes so much deeper than the nucleus, and CERN's main area of research is particle physics, the study of the fundamental constituents of matter and the forces acting between them. Because of this, the laboratory operated by CERN is often referred to as the European Laboratory for Particle Physics. CERN has come a long way since its foundation in 1954. Here's a timeline that collects the organization's major contracts, projects, partnerships, and scientific advancements. Okay, so we can follow this timeline here. Breaking ground. First accelerator starts up, 57. The proton synchronization starts. First observation of the anti-nuclei. Anyway, you can go look at that. Anyway, what happens here with this CERN? Let me go back here so you can kind of get a better view here. Alright, basically what you've got going on is you've got this collider that is sending particles around and around and around and around. And this large device is built around a city. So you got a city in the middle of it, and you got this thing built around it. And these particles are going around and around and around and around, faster and faster and faster, until at one point they smash into each other. The whole purpose is they want to try to recreate the Big Bang to see if they could find the God particle. Now, one thing that seems kind of interesting in this, remember in the readings of the Nag Hammadi text and the story of Yaldabaoth, what did Yaldabaoth want to do? Yaldabaoth created the skin suit because he wanted to trap the God particle in the human skin suit. Here we are, have scientists at a building wanting to trap or discover the God particle. What do they want to do with it once they discover it? Not quite certain. There's a lot of question marks and questions that people have about this, but that kind of in a very simplistic way is what's going on. So let's move on here, look a little bit deeper. This is Shiva. Shiva is destroyer of the worlds. Why am I showing you this image? Because this is the image that is outside the Cern laboratory. Shiva, destroyer of worlds. Question: why is Shiva the destroyer of worlds outside the Cern laboratory? I don't have an answer for that, but it's a very good question. I think that we all should be asking ourselves. Why is there an image of a destroyer of the worlds outside of Cern? Here's an article. It's by Michelle Walling. It says the usual and majority of humanity has no idea of the true threat of Cern and how it is trying to be used in the Draco-Anunnaki war on human consciousness. The mainstream media is diligently programming humanity to assure them that the investment of billions of dollars for a particle accelerator is necessary in order to achieve scientific knowledge of our origins out of dark matter. What we are really facing is the final attempt by the madmen behind the curtain to reset the world in a hit-and-run scenario. So why wouldn't... Let me play this while I'm doing that. So why wouldn't we want to know what the God particle really is? Well, the Large Hadron Collider, aka Cern, is supposed to be able to recreate the split second after the Big Bang in order to study the origins of the universe. The carrot dangled to the human population in the way that they want to study the beginning of time in order to know how we were created. The truth is that they are trying to play God and they do not have humanity's best interests in mind. This video shows you how Cern works with the false light grid that has been set up all over the planet. The video also shows how the acceptance of Cern has been subliminally advertised by the media for public acceptance. Cern was turned on to 75% capacity December 21st, 2012 and was forced offline due to technical issues. Isn't it interesting that that was the New Age planned day of ascension? There were reports all over the area of being able to see demons and other beings in other realms at its highest capacity. They've been working on it for 2 years now to get Cern back online. Cern is scheduled to start its fastest and faster levels of firing stages again Friday the 13th of this month, and subsequently will be wrapped up during the spring equinox, March 20th. Coincidentally, at the time, there will be a solar eclipse. Throughout history, we have seen that equinoxes, solstices, new moons, and solar eclipses are used as powerful black magic ritual dates. With that being said, it is imperative to know what Cern really is. So here's what they want you to know, and this is from the Cern's website. The instruments used at Cern are purpose-built particle accelerators and detectors. Accelerators boost beams of particles to high energies before the beams are made to collide with each other or with stationary targets. Detectors observe and record the results of these collisions. Founded in 1954, the Cern laboratory sits astride the Franco-Swiss border near Geneva. The name Cern is derived from the acronym for the French Conseil Europe pour la Recherche Nucléaire, or the European Council for Nuclear Research, a provisional body founded in 1952. Okay, so did you catch that? Nuclear. This alone spells trouble because the implications of the machine that they have built right under our noses is much worse than that. Did you know what the ideas of Cern actually began all the way back in 49 and actually began to officially start working on Cern in 54, 61 years ago? So again, why is Shiva, the Hindu god of destruction, placed outside the entrance to the Hadron Collider? Does Hadron have anything to do with Hades? So here's another little video here for you to watch. I'm just going to turn the volume down while I'm going so you can just see what's there. This is an update from the letter of what they've said. It says almost 2 years since the day the team at Cern Control switched off the beams in the Large Hadron Collider, otherwise known as the LHC, at 7:24 a.m. on February 14, 2013, marking the end of the accelerator's first 3-year run. Hundreds of engineers and technicians have been repairing and strengthening the laboratory's accelerators and experiments in preparation for running the Large Hadron Collider at higher energy. So what was the work achieved? When the Large Hadron Collider resets this year, the energy of particle collisions will be 13 TeV, or 6.5 TeV per beam, compared to 8 TeV. So, or 4 per beam in 2012. So we're going from 8 to 5. So they're jumping up 5 TeV. Okay, or 2.5 TeV per beam. This higher energy will allow physicists to extend their searches for new particles and to check previously unstable theories. To prepare this machine for the new energy frontier, 18 of the Large Hadron Colliders, 1,232 superconducting dipole magnets, which steer particle beams around the accelerator, were replaced due to wear and tear. More than 10,000 electrical interconnections between dipole magnets were fitted with shunts, pieces of metal that act as an alternative path for the 11,000 amp current, saving the interconnection if there is a fault. Okay, there's a lot more to this here. I'm going to leave you to read the article. Let's see if there's anything more. It says, my observations, for what I can tell, Cern could be used to open a portal for escape, either through creating an artificial stargate or by trying to shift the pull of the planet once again to line up the prior connection with the astral world. Is it a coincidence that one of the number one messages we've been getting from the other sides of the veil is to use discernment? Perhaps that message has double meaning, as we have to concern about bringing this thing online to its full nuclear particle accelerating potential. All right. It says a light-carrying particle also has dark matter particle. This is similar to the extreme light and dark polarity we are seeing in our reality. All over the world, it seems as if they can impart masses to all of the particles. This will be harnessing all of the light creation. It sounds like pure dark magic to me, in order to weaken the quarantine of the Earth, but also to find an escape path to the universe, as well as the entry path from the astral realm. Alright, so let's see here. If we can, trying to find an image I want to show you. One thing that's quite fascinating is when you look inside and you see the collider itself. If we were to superimpose over that, like this right here, if we get a good look at this, if we were to superimpose over this, that Aztec Mayan calendar wheel, guess what? It lines right up. Something interesting is going on. But let's continue. Where else might we find Cern? Well, this book right here is called the Encyclopedia of Wicca and Witchcraft. And on here, on page 263, it starts talking about Cern. The next morning he rises up from the underworld as the sun, having learned of his brother Lupercius, who ascended and left his earthly throne void. Cern becomes the god of this world and reigns on his place on earth. The only physical remains of Lupercius is his wolf skin, which is found by another human in the forest. The pelt turns out to be magical and has the power to transform men into wolves. The first man to wear the wolf pelt of Lupercius was a priest of Lupercius and founded the Society of Luperci. Lupercius represents winter, the waning season of the year, even though he is the sun god. His brother Cern, the stag god of the forest, represents the waxing year. In the mythos, we find the rivalry of winter and summer, opposing forces and yet related, brothers, necessary balances in the scheme of nature. Lupercius is slain during the hunt, in which Cern is the hunted. He is slain by the centaur, who gives a bolt of lightning from his bow by Diana, having been persuaded by his sister Diana. The god Cern is later slain as well, but on the autumn equinox by Mars during another hunting incident. Worthy of note, in a more connective sense, is the centaur in the constellation Centaurus, who aims a bow at the constellation Lupius, the wolf. In mythology, the centaur was beloved by Apollo and Diana, who instructed him in many of the ancient war arts. Diana and the stag are strongly associated in the witch cult, and in the classic Roman statue, she is portrayed standing with a stag. The wolf was sacred to Mars, and perhaps we see some sort of vengeance slaying in the myth of Cern. Okay, so very interesting indeed. that here we find reference to Cern in a book about Wicca and witchcraft. Don't you think? Do you find that somewhat interesting? But let's continue. There's more. The Hindu Shiva dance of destruction was filmed inside the collider. The Large Hadron Collider is the largest machine in the world. It took thousands of scientists, engineers, and technicians decades to plan and build it, and it continues to operate at the very boundaries of scientific knowledge. Said the Large Hadron Collider is one of the world's largest, most powerful particle accelerators. It first started up on the 10th of September 2008. It remains the latest addition to Cern's accelerator complex. The Large Hadron Collider consists of a 27-kilometer ring of superconducting magnets with a number of accelerating structures to boost the energy of the particles along the way. Cern, the new European Organization for Nuclear Research, has its headquarters in Geneva. Its presence at member states are Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, Czech Republic, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Italy, the Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Portugal, and Slovak Republic, Spain, Switzerland, Sweden, and United Kingdom, India, Israel, Japan, the Russian Federation, United States of America, Turkey, the European Commission, and UNESCO have observed status. Cern Council is the body which represents of the 20 member states of the organization. Okay. It's the Hadron Collider. And what we have here, this is a short little dance that was done over at Cern. Let me just jump through here. There we go. So, question to you is, why is Shiva, a god of destruction, outside Cern, and why are they doing a dance of destruction over at Cern? Do you know? Does any of that seem to make sense to you? Why is Cern mentioned in a book about witchcraft, Wicca and witchcraft? Something's going on. Why does the particle accelerator match up with the Mayan wheel, the Aztec wheel? Again, all good questions. Good questions indeed. But there's more. Remember how I've been talking to you about the Earth, and that there's theories out there about the Earth that haven't gone away? The theory that the Earth perhaps is flat as opposed to round. I know. Crazy for saying that, right? But there is a lot of good science that one can find in studying. As a matter of fact, this weekend I'm going to be doing an interview with somebody who has done a great deal of research on that and has put out a number of videos on the subject. So if you have any particular questions you would like me to ask them, please send them across, firstcontactradio@yahoo.com. But I feel like I'm going to hit it pretty good. I've been looking at the subject matter, and the reason I bring that up is, look what this says. I didn't plan this. I found this one looking on stuff for the Equinox. Revelations 12:12, Maya, Cern, Flat Earth, Reset. Could the March 20th, 215 Cern ramp up be related to breaking through the solid dome barrier around the Earth? What? At the end of 2012, I followed closely a Mayan spiritual leader named Acta, who met with scientists about the December 21st, 2012 planetary alignment. As Acta stated, the scientists studied Mayan culture and knew precisely where a cosmic beam or an energetic pulse released from the galactic core 26,000 years would touch the Earth on that day. Driven by the unquenchable search for the antimatter particle, on the 21st, 2012, globalists planned a huge experiment using particle accelerators. Their plan was to leverage the planetary alignment to generate a very high vibration called the proton. Proton, using huge machines, would have seriously harmed Earth and many humans. The Mayan explanation of what was to happen on December 21st, Acta spoke of the science, the quantum physics, antimatter, particle accelerators, proton collision, tectonic plates, magnet activity, mercury and LED lights, torsion, toroidal energy, mass construction of pyramids, electromagnetic fields, the impact of the galactic center with the sun, and so on. He also discusses dimensional shift, awakening of conscious, materialization, and thought and feeling, vibration, etc. We have a 32-minute video talking about this particular situation and his thoughts. I'm going to leave this for you to read. Goes into hearsay. Let me see, there's something I did want to show you. Cern is to start fastest level of firing on the 13th of March and ramps up during the 20th solar eclipse spring equinox. Alright, something to consider. But again, this is very interesting that somebody would write that they want to break through the dome barrier around the Earth. Because again, the flat Earth model is not something that is new. Some people say, well, who suddenly came up with the idea the Earth was flat? That's the theory that is out there before the theory that the Earth was round. The Mayans believed the Earth was flat. The Egyptians believed the Earth was flat. If you read Zecharia Sitchin's book from the Sumerian tablets, who were told were connected and had met with the Anunnaki, in those books they describe the Earth as a round disk with a dome over it. The Greeks at one point believed that the Earth was flat. If you read through the Bible, you will see that the model of the Earth in the Bible is a flat Earth. I'm not making this up. I'm just telling you and sharing with you the information that's out there. It wasn't until the medieval times, when we didn't have technology to be able to go out and look at what the Earth really looked like, this was a time when suddenly it was changed and humankind said the Earth is round. And it was a group of men, globalists. We went from the flat Earth to globalists who believe in a global experience. And of course, these globalists, we can look and see that they were all part of a similar club, Masonic orders, secret societies. Today, the United Nations has a symbol that it uses. You know what that symbol is? It's a symbol of a flat Earth. Why would the United Nations use a symbol of a flat Earth? I don't know. Again, I'm just bringing to you information that's out there so that you can process it all and think about it. You see, if we get emotionally connected to all of these subjects, we're going to miss the unbiased way that we could look at this information. We need to step back and we need to be able to find out what's real and what's not. And if we're always letting our emotions get in the way, or always letting our beliefs that we gathered from what others have told us, we're not going to get to really understand what's going on. I don't want you to believe me. I want you to go and follow these links for yourself, and I want you to decide for yourself what's going on without me having to tell you. Because if I have to tell you, then there's really no point to it. I can only show you what I have learned, and then hope that you will go and you will learn for yourself. We have to use our critical thinking in this regards. We can't just dismiss it because we believe something to be true. Okay? Beliefs aren't the same as results. Beliefs are just things that are often passed around. And in a world that we live in today where we are told how to think or what to think as opposed to taught how to think, people's beliefs are gathered by what they're told to think. They believe based on what they're told. So we need to really kind of move past that into understanding something deeper. I don't know what the result, I don't know what the answer is. I just know this information is out there, and anyone who's really wanting to search needs to seek and find the truth. Seek and we shall find. All right? Another thing that's quite interesting, the movie Flash. You watching the TV show Flash? The Flash and all of those who got these extraordinary powers all came because there was an explosion at a facility that seemed to be a nuclear particle facility. So just something else that's bringing this attention to the public, that we might accept these things as something that is beneficial to humanity. All right, I'm going to move on here to this video today. Our message, channeled message, this comes to us from Melchizedek and the Great White Brotherhood. Okay, and for those of you who are wondering, the Great White Brotherhood has nothing to do with skin color. It has to do with the whiteness of light, the purity of the light. So this raises far above anything that our earthly minds want to say is happening. Nothing to do with race, nothing to do with skin color. The Great White Brotherhood are spiritual ascended masters, and they come in a variety of colors. Just thought I'd put that out there because we have a very sensitive world who people get touchy about talking about skin color these days. So just wanted to put that out there so you understand that's not what this is about. All right, here we go.
Melchizedek and the Great White Brotherhood.
Anna Merkaba, March 20th, 2015.
Dearly beloved children of the universe, let go, freeing yourself of a painful moment in the eternity of bliss. Let your body, mind, and soul bathe in the loving energies of the creation that indeed you are. That indeed you are becoming, that indeed you have always been. Allow the magnificent energies of purely divine intentions to wash over you. Let your higher self take you by the hand and lead you through the door into infinite possibilities of creation. Allow your mind to release the thoughts that it is so desperately trying to let go of. Explore your feelings and allow them to pass through and out of you. Imagine for a moment that you are like a bottomless cylinder through which water flows and flows. Open all of your chakras for healing and loving energies, and behold the new you. Behold the new you, in the anticipation of being. In the anticipation of the grand changes unfolding lovingly all around you. Let go of the preconceived notions and ideas. And allow the new magnificent energies to bathe you in a parade of glorious accompaniments of the heavenly abodes. Stand tall as a pillar of pure brilliance that indeed you are. Stand strong and flexible in the winds of change making their ways rapidly into your present reality. Be in the now moment, and frequent the healing room of your chosen momentum. Remember the divinity that you hold within your heart and within the DNA structure of your being. Let it all go. Climb a mountain in your mind's eye and shout from the top of it that you are free. Completely and utterly free from all the programming of the past, from all the programming of the future, and all the programming of the now moment in time. Free yourself, and through the freedom that you will create for yourself, you shall create the freedom for others. Walk. Walk with dignity and understanding in your stride, true understanding, and complete surrender to all that shall come onto the path of your chosen momentum. Understand that you are supported by all that is, and allow the supportive energies to embrace you in eternal infinite love of your Creator Self. And when you let go, anchor your newly found identity, your newly found understanding of self, into the new earth energies, into the energies of the fifth dimensional creation of that which you are. Anchor said energies and anchor yourself into the moment in which you wish to remain. Be in that moment and savor each drop of said energies. Savor each moment, and you shall create with might and vigor all such moments. Be. Love. Now. That is all that we have for you now. We love you. We are with you. Goodbye for Melchizedek and the Great White Brotherhood now.
All right, good message. Very good message. So, today's passage in the Warrior of Light, the next one up, is this one right here. Oh, where are we going? It's bouncing all over the place. All right, here it is. A warrior of light is never indifferent to injustice. He knows that all is one and that each individual's action affects everyone on the planet. That is why, when confronted by the suffering of others, he uses his sword to restore order. But even though he fights against oppression, at no point does he attempt to judge the oppressor? Each person will answer for his actions before God, and so on. Once the warrior has completed his task, he makes no further comment. A warrior of the light is in the world in order to help his fellow man and not in order to condemn his neighbor. And that's very important. Very important message. I'll admit I get caught up in that, and I get really, as you know, tired of the injustices. And sometimes I need to, as well as everybody else, just have a little bit more control and patience, because God will sort things out. That's not our job to do that and make the judgments. Ours is just to keep doing the things that we know to be right. All right, here's our meditation for the day. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. And another deep breath. And exhale. I want you to imagine now people around the world all standing out in the street. You are one of them. And you're standing out in the street looking up at the sky and seeing the vastness of space all around us. I want you to imagine the great creator that exists beyond all space and all time. The creator, the mother, father of eternity, of the entirety. I want you to imagine that energy flowing through each and every one of us. Now I want you to imagine that down here on earth, that there are those who are trying to trap, delve into this aspect of divinity, knowing that what they are doing moves past aspects of goodness into things that maybe aren't well understood. So let's imagine this large Hadron Collider in Geneva, Switzerland, and let's be aware of all of the experiments they are doing, and knowing that there are problems, questions, and things that we know that may be harmful to us. Let us at this point in time, as light workers, join together our energies of light as a barrier of protection against any and all disturbances that may come from this experiment that they are doing. Let us send protection around the planet to protect all human beings upon this planet. And let us see this shield of protection around us, so that no matter what may occur during these experiments that are going on, that we find ourselves safe and protected. And through this barrier protection, let the energies and consciousness expand to those who are involved with these experiments. Let these go out to help them to understand that some of the realms with which they are delving into are more dangerous than they could possibly imagine. So let us, as we go for the day, just think about the word protection and imagine this protective energy around you, around your friends and your family, spread across this globe. And let us know that we collectively can come together to change whatever those with ill intent may have in mind. And as we do so, we do what we are here to do, to assist the planet, to assist the earth in growing, to assist individuals in growing. That we become closer to the creator of the entirety and not get caught up in the ways of man trying to ensnare God. So let's walk strong, walk tall, and walk with faith as we go into the world today, knowing that we are making a difference by sending our protection into the world. So let the subconscious mind continue on that journey of thinking about protection and light and just keeping the planet safe from all those who have other intentions. And let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. That's it for today, my friends. Let's enjoy the rest of this day. The last day of winter. Springtime is upon us. A time of new beginning. A new moon. A new sun. All sorts of fresh changes. And let us move forward with the possibilities of what can be created. And let's not worry about the dangers. Because we can create whatever it is we choose. All we need to do is protect ourselves from all of those who are doing things that aren't quite so safe, despite what they may say. That's it for today, my friends. Thank you for being here. I'll be back tomorrow with more news and information. Till then, I love you. Keep loving each other, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.